Check 1, 2. Meeting to order.
How many
Can we
agenda?
take roll call,
We got a
please?
lot.
Is your mic on, Charlie?
I read it earlier. I just had-
Right.
It should be on the wait list.
But,
Nope, feels like an A.
there we go.
All right. Davis?
Yeah, go quicker.
And I won't ask questions.
Here.
Here.
George?
Here.
Weiss?
Here.
Ackley?
Here.
Preston?
Here.
Huddleston?
Here.
Vernock?
Here.
Gardner. Gift?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a public meeting which is subject to the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A current copy of that law and the rules and guidelines for this meeting are posted on the north wall of this room and are posted online at the Sarpy County website under the Planning Commission page. With that, I'd like to introduce the Sarpy County staff who are here this evening. We have Jason Kubicek, Donna Lynham, Kelly Jack, Nicole Spitzenberger, Kayla Hathcote, Tammy Hargens, and Dave?
Scott.
Scott McAleer. Did I miss anybody? No? With that, do we have a motion on the October 19th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting minutes?
Motion to approve is written. Second.
We have a motion by Ackley, a second by George. Please vote.
Okay. Jan, are you able to,
I did. I abstained.
okay, so let me, we may have to do, all right, who else don't I have?
It shows on mine, does it show? It doesn't.
It's not showing on mine, that's the, Marty.
Okay, I'll try it again.
Did you want to vote on it? Okay. We're having some issue here, I think.
Oh, mine show up?
It didn't. How would you like to vote?
Yes.
And Mr. Vernock, how would you like to vote?
Yes.
It's not going to pop up either. Okay, we have 7, 4, 1 abstaining, that's Davis, and 3 absent, that's Gardner, Whitfield, and Korth. Motion carries.
Well, under the regular agenda, I will introduce each case, and then staff will present each detailed application on the agenda and provide a recommended action. After staff has presented a case, I shall open the public hearing process. All individuals who provide testimony shall state their name prior to any testimony. 5 minutes are allowed for the applicant or a representative of the applicant. A portion of this time may be reserved for other representatives of the applicant. 5 minutes are allowed for a representative of an opponent if there are any. 2 minutes are allowed for any other individuals wishing to speak on the proposed action. After this public testimony, I shall close the public hearing process. The proposed matter may be debated and discussed amongst members of the Planning Commission. Commissioners may question any person without the requirement of rebuttal, and there's no time limit for this discussion. Following the Planning Commission's discussion of the case, I shall ask the Commission what action they wish to take. A recommendation for action from a Planning Commissioner can be to approve with changes, to disapprove, or to table. Following acceptance of a motion and a second, I will call for a vote of the Commission. Commissioners shall vote when called upon. Agenda item 1 this evening is John Wingender and Mary Kay Miller and Gabriel and Hannah Ose have submitted applications for consideration of a preliminary plat and a final plat. And I apologize if I butchered your names.
All right. Good evening, Commissioners. Thanks for coming tonight, so close to Christmas. Appreciate you getting us in. So John Wingender and Mary Kay Miller, Gabriel and Hannah Oas, applicants and property owners have submitted applications for consideration of a preliminary and final plat of a subdivision to be known as Outlots 1 through 8, Wingender Oas addition. Property is generally located southeast of La Platte Road and Lakewood Drive. The applicants are replatting 2 existing lots to create 6 additional outlots for sale with the assumption that these will house garages to be built on. With the assumption garages will be built on these outlots. 2015 memorandum from the Sarpy County Planning Department, which applies only to outlots in the Chris Hansen's and Betty Lakes area, allows the use of these outlots to build garages only. The proposed outlots or any existing or future structures cannot be used as living quarters, though. Proposed outlots are allowed to be served with water and electricity, but no sewer, including septic. The proposed 20-foot alley right-of-way providing access to outlots 1, 5, 6, and 7 will have a 20-foot landscaped area adjacent to La Platte Road to provide separation of moving vehicles. This area is identified as Outlot A on the plat. The staff recommends approval of a preliminary and final plat of the subdivision to be known as Outlots 1 through 8, inclusive Wingender Oas addition, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions for staff at this time?
Is there a limit on size of garage?
Yes, it's in the memorandum. It sets the size limits.
Okay,
But
I
it's-
remember reading it, but I don't remember that piece.
Maximum 1,200 square feet for Donna here. Thanks, Donna.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question with regard to no septic systems being allowed to these outlots, but water is allowed. How do you dispose of the water if we don't have any septic? Or
It would just be like a hose bib of some sort like that that just runs and
into the sand?
leaches. Yeah. So
The other question, and one other question I have is, as far as the 20-foot of road right away, is there something that's going to come up regarding improvements to that road? Or, I mean, some kind of surfacing or something that allows it to be passable?
it's designated as an alley, so they can do gravel. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's fine, but that's what I guess I'm asking, is that part of this where it's going to be required that be improved the gravel so that access is possible to these lots?
Yeah, there'll be There'll be, it must be gravel at the very least. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't know that it's noted, but we can add that as a note to put on the plat.
I have another question. I don't know if you want to continue now, Mr. Chairman, or wait till the,
No, that's fine.
Public hearing.
For the staff.
so I wasn't here in 2015. I see you have a memo in there. I'm not tracking how you get a standalone accessory use on these lots without any permitted use by right or special use permit use. I mean, that's what the regulations say. I see a memo in here. I don't know that that supersedes the zoning regulations. And I'm not suggesting that the garage use is inappropriate. I just don't know how you get there through your zoning regulations as drafted. So any insight you could give me on that, connect the dots for me, that would be
Since
helpful.
we have Donna here, and she's standing right here,
And I was here in 2015, and Jason wasn't.
she signed it.
That was determined between Bruce Fountain, director at the time, and myself and legal. There are outlots down in Chris and Hans Lake that have been there for years. There are outlots that have sheds on them, outhouses on them, large structures on them. So people were coming in, they were asking for outrageous sized buildings. Accessory buildings in an RD50 are not a permitted use. In an RD50, you can have two structures. You can have maximum 144 square foot shed or a maximum 720 square foot garage, detached garage is what we call it. We were getting a lot of pushback. We were in the process, and we still are in the process of updating our zoning regulations. So therefore, that's when the office policy memo was put into effect to put a lid on them. You can have up to 1,200 square feet, 17 foot tall, grade to pitch or average grade to pitch with 312 pitch roof. And that's the way it has stood since 2015 until we get our zoning regs, which it'll be in the zoning regs at that time. How I get from point A to point B, that's been a policy that was adopted in the office back in 2015. That's all I can tell you at that time.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff at this time?
I got one. I'm not real familiar with the area, but is there covenants, and will these buildings be, will they need to require the covenants that are around the area?
We will not be able to enforce any covenants. That will be up to the neighborhood association or SAD that has those. So that won't be anything that we can do, but yeah, as far as building permits and those sorts of things.
That may be a better question for the applicant as well.
Right, yeah, good point.
One follow-on for you. Is it necessary to address their proposed future use to recommend approval of the plat? I mean, that is, if they've met all the requirements of the plat, then would it fall on the permit issuer or whomever to determine zoning compliance rather than us? Does that make sense?
Yes, zoning compliance would be determined at the time of building permit issuance because it meets all the zoning regs to plat it.
Okay.
If a building was to be erected on it, then it would have to meet zoning regs and be a zoning review at that time.
Okay. That helps. Thanks.
Well, with that, I'd like to open the public hearing and would ask if there's a representative of the applicant who would like to come forward.
Hello, my name is Gabe Oss. I can speak to your covenant issue. The covenants are maintained and enforced by the local lake associations. There's 3 of them. There's Hanson Lake 2, Hanson Lake 3, and Chris and Betty Lakes Association. So each one of them enforces the covenants individually. There is an SID, but they have no jurisdiction of the covenants, and they maintain our roads and sewers, as well as the water system there. Short of that, I don't really have anything else to add.
Just out of curiosity, your covenants would permit a standalone garage?
I'm sorry?
Your covenants would permit a standalone garage?
Oh, yeah,
I've seen them on there.
there's plenty of them down there. And to your other question was whether there's, I think you alluded to, was there a precedent to creating lots for garages as a purpose?
Oh, yeah.
And I think over the years, I think we've seen that,
Sure.
including the SID 101, taking a portion of their land and creating lots to sell. So, and I think that happened maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't have the exact date, but
Thanks.
any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this matter this evening? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing, and I would ask the Planning Commission what action you would like to take.
Goes underway. Do you use these little things? I'll let you do this one. Second it.
I'll take a stab at it if there's no further comments. I'd like to make a motion that we recommend, I'd like to recommend approval of a preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as outlots 1 through 8 inclusive. Wingender Osis addition, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, and subject to the road being gravelled by the developer, as that's consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second.
We have a motion by Giff, a second by George. Please vote.
I don't have a dialogue box.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I'll have to, all right, let me see. Vernock,
Yes.
who else are we missing? Oh, I guess, yeah, okay, there we go. 8 votes for, 3 absent, motion carries.
Thank you.
You did say preliminary plat. Is final plat part of that motion as well?
No, it'd be
Next motion.
Just a second, if you give us a minute here, sir.
I'd like to recommend approval of a final plat of the subdivision to be known as outlots 1 through 8 inclusive. Wingender Os addition, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, and subject to the subdivider putting gravel on the 20-foot public road, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second.
We have a motion by Giff, a second by George. Please vote.
Vernock,
Yes.
Giff,
Yes.
and Davis.
Yeah.
8 votes for, motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 2. Kelly, is this pertaining to agenda item 2?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I'd like to enter into the record an email that was dated December 20th, 2021 from Crystal Young regarding this case. Agenda item 2 is Patricia Gilmore has submitted applications for consideration of rezoning, preliminary plat, and a final plat.
Thank you. Patricia Gilmore, applicant and property owner, has submitted an application for consideration of a rezoning from agricultural development to residential estates 2 and a preliminary and final plat of an acreage development to be known as lots 1 through 3 and Outlot A, Mountain View Estates, Replat 1. The property is generally located south of the Sarpy County line and west of 240th Street. The property owner intends to sell proposed lots 1 and 3 to family members for construction of single-family residences. Outlot A is set aside for conservation easement in compliance with the Conservation Development Zone of the Growth Management Zone pursuant to the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan. The southernmost accessory structure, which, if I can zoom in here, this one right here with the hand on it, currently is used by a family member as a home occupation to minor use, which is an accessory use, will be a part of proposed Lot 3 and sold with the property. The applicant has been advised that a special use permit will be required if the use should change, becoming a home occupation 1 major, having clients or non-resident employees on site. The current use fits the home occupation 2 accessory use definition, which does not require the special use permit. Floodplain development permits will be required for any man-made improvements that are in the floodplain, and this property does have some area in the floodplain showing here. If you have any, let me go through the motions here. Rezoning, staff recommends approval of a rezoning from ag development to RE2, Residential Estates 2, for a subdivision to be known as Mountain View Estates Replat 1, lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning regulations. The staff recommends approval of a preliminary and final plat of the subdivision to be known as Mountain View Estates Replat 1, lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions for staff at this time? No? With that, I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there a representative of the applicant who would like to speak?
Hi, I am Pat Gilmore, the property owner and applicant, and also here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this matter? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and would ask what action or what additional questions the commission might have.
Am I understanding that the outlot is the reserve piece? Is that correct?
Yes, for
And
the
it
conservation development.
never could be built on, never could.
Correct. Yep, it's deed restricted.
Okay.
I'd like to recommend approval. I'd like to recommend approval of preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as Mountain View Estates. Replat 1, lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report.
Mr. George,
Yes, sir.
would you care to make a motion on the rezoning first?
That'd be a good idea. That'd be a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes,
I believe I did.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
7:25.
Okay. I'd like to make a recommendation for approval of a rezoning from AGD Agricultural Development to RE2 Residential Estates 2. of the subdivision to be known as Mountain View Estates Replat 1, Lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning regulations.
I second.
We have a motion by George and a second by Davis. Please vote.
Vernock?
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
I'd like to recommend approval of a preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as Mountain View Estates Replat 1, Lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
I second.
We have a motion by George and a second by Davis. Please vote.
And Vernock?
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of the final plat of the subdivision to be known as Mountain View Estates Replat 1, Lots 1 through 3, and Outlot A, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
And I second that.
We have a motion by George, a second by Davis. Please vote.
Vernock?
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 3. James Koch has submitted an application for consideration of a comprehensive plan amendment.
I'm going to go ahead and present for both, for all the Cook Edition items.
Very
For the
good.
comp plan amendment, the rezoning, and preliminary plat.
Okay.
Lesson learned from last time. Okay. So James Cook has submitted an application for consideration of a comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map for the property legally described as a portion of tax lot 5 in south half of the southwest quarter in section 15, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian, Sarpy County, Nebraska. In addition, the Sarpy County Planning and Building Department is recommending a comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map for portions of the properties legally described as tax lot 4C and northwest quarter of the southwest quarter in section 15, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian. Second one, northwest quarter of the northwest quarter and part of tax lot 9 and the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter north of railroad right-of-way in section 22, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian. And third, the adjacent railroad and state highway 6 right-of-way in section 22, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian, all in Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located west, on the west side of 234th Street, north of Highway 6. So this area was designated as business park on the future land use map when the comprehensive plan was adopted. In 2017, due to a proposed development in the area, which was never implemented. The applicant desires to plat a one-lot subdivision to separate the farmstead from the farm ground, thus requiring a comprehensive plan amendment, with the area primarily being farm ground and with floodplain to the west, changing the future land use to business park, from business park to residential estates is compatible with the area. Upon review of the application, the planning department staff determined that those portions of the properties to the north and south of the subject property designated as business park on the future land use map should be amended to keep the future land use designation contiguous. Therefore, the planning department is recommending that all the areas designated as business park along the west side of 234th Street and north of Highway 6 be amended to residential estates on the future land use map. These additional areas are identified on the exhibits. Only the portions that are currently designated as business park on the future land use map are proposed to be amended to the residential estates. Those areas currently designated as agricultural are not being changed. In addition to the comp plan amendment, James Cook, applicant and property owner, has submitted applications for consideration of a rezoning from agricultural farming to residential estates 2, and a preliminary plat for a subdivision to be known as Lot 1, Cook Edition. This property is generally located southwest of 234th Street and Amelia Road. The parcel has an existing farmhouse in the northeast corner. Let me pull up the plat here. In the northeast corner of the lot. The remainder of the property is treed and farmland. The proposed 2-acre lot requires a rezoning to residential estates 2. The proposed lot is located just outside of the floodplain. This property is adjacent to the ETJ of the city of Gretna. The city was contacted and no comments were received. The current driveway will be reconfigured to be located on Lot 1. The easement for the existing driveway on the property to the north will be vacated. An exception request was made to by the applicant to waive the urban reserve guideline pursuant to Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan Appendix C exception requests. The justification for the exception request is criteria C within Section 3, and states the applicant can show that the approval will allow division of property for settlement of an estate between family members so that the ownership will be continued uninterrupted within the family, and that they have followed the county's guidelines for utility and drainage easements and roadway access and connections. The applicant does not intend to sell to does intend to sell to an immediate family member sometime after the filing of the final plat. The property owner will be notified via certified mail that the remainder of tax lot 5 is not a legal lot of record and is considered an unbuildable lot until it becomes a legally platted lot in accordance with the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. A copy of the notification will be recorded by the planning department with the Sarpy County Register of Deeds once the final plat is recorded. So staff recommends approval of a comprehensive plan amendment, amending the future land use map from business park to residential estates for portions of the following parcels legally described as a portion of tax lot 5 and the south half of the southwest quarter in section 15, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian. Second, tax lot 4C and the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter in section 15, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian. Third, the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter and part of tax lot 9 and the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter north of railroad right-of-way in section 22, township 13 north, range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian. And fourth, adjacent railroad and state highway 6 right-of-way in section 22, township 13 north and range 10 east of the 6th prime meridian, all in Sarpy County, Nebraska. Staff makes this recommendation as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Growth Management Zones map. Staff also recommends approval of a rezoning from agricultural farming to residential estates 2 on the property to be known as Koch Addition Lot 1, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal meets the intent of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and zoning regulations. Staff also recommends approval of preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as Koch Addition Lot 1, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, waiving the urban reserve guidelines based on Appendix C of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan. Criteria 3C, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions for staff at this time? Seeing none, I'd like to open the public hearing and would ask if there's a representative of the applicant that would like to speak to this.
Good evening. My name is James Cook, and I'm appearing on behalf of my brothers and sisters who inherited this property from my mother, and we'd appreciate your consideration of the rezoning. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this matter this evening? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing. And with that, I'd ask the commission what action you'd like to take or what questions you might have.
Is there any, I guess for the staff, is there any, as we from time to time waive the urban reserve zone requirements, is there any problem with that as far as setting precedent in the future, that would affect us in a way that we maybe don't necessarily like?
Right. I think that as long as it's meeting the criteria set forth in the comprehensive plan, which also sets forth the urban reserve zone, I think we're okay with that precedent.
Thank you.
Would anyone care to make a motion?
I make a motion that the Planning Commission recommends approval, starting first with the motion on the comprehensive plan amendment, that we recommend approval of a comprehensive plan amendment amending the future land use map from business park to residential estates for portions of the following parcels legally described as a portion of tax lot 5 and the southwest half of the southwest quarter in section 15, township 13, north range 10, east of the 6 p.m. Parcel number 2, tax lot 4C and the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter in section 15, township 13, north range 10, east of the 6 p.m. And the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter and part of tax lot 9 and the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter north of railroad right-of-way in section 22, township 13, north range 10, east of the 6 p.m. And parcel number 4 is adjacent railroad and state highway 6 right-of-way in section 22, township 13, north range 10, east of the 6 p.m., all in Sarpy County, Nebraska, as this recommendation is consistent with the Sarpy County Growth Management Zones map.
I will second that. Preston?
We have a motion by Davis and a second by Preston. Please vote.
Wait till we get that next one.
Knock?
Yes.
Giff.
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
Anyone care to make a motion on the rezoning action?
If I can get it correctly, I'll do it. I recommend that, I move that the Planning Commission recommends approval of rezoning from agricultural farming AG to residential estates 2 on the property legally described as a portion of tax lot 5 in the southwest quarter and the south. Okay. Can we just say, and that description?
Known as Cook Edition Lot 1.
Excuse,
Aren't you doing the rezoning?
right.
I would just say that you want to change the zoning on the Cook Edition Lot 1 to be known Cook Edition Lot 1, and don't do the legal description.
Okay. What Donna said, that's what I move, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report as the rezoning meets the intent of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and zoning regulations.
Second, Preston.
We have a motion by Davis, a second by Preston. Please vote.
And Bernard.
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
This is going to be terrible as I try to do this.
Preliminary plat.
Okay, do I need to go through the legal descriptions? Okay. I move for approval of that we recommend approval of the preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as Cook Edition Lot 1, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, along with the following condition, that there is the exception request to waive the urban reserve guidelines based on Appendix C of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan, Criteria 3C. The proposal is consistent with Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second, Preston.
We have a motion by Davis, a second by Preston. Please vote.
Giff. Marty, how would you like
you
to
asking
vote?
me?
Yes,
Oh.
please.
Yes.
And Bernard.
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
All right, this evening, agenda item 5, Woodsonia 204-Harrison LLC has submitted applications for consideration of rezoning, a revised preliminary plat, and a final plat.
Thank you. Woodsonia 204 Harrison LLC, applicant and property owner, has submitted applications for consideration of a rezoning from two-family residential to general residential district with planned townhouse development overlay, and a revised preliminary plat and final plat of a 25-lot subdivision having 118 sublots for a proposed townhome development. The property is generally located southwest of 204th Street and Harrison Street. The final plat for lots 1 through 327 and outlots A through K, Sunset Meadows, was approved on November 30th, 2021 by the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners. The applicant is proposing to replat lots 113 through 138, lots 149 through 186, and outlot C and outlot K, all located in the southeast corner of Sunset Meadows, for the construction of townhomes. By utilizing the planned townhouse development overlay, it allows each lot to have multiple sublots. Each sublot would be associated to one townhouse unit, allowing each unit to be sold individually. The planned townhouse development overlay has been utilized in the subdivisions such as Millard Park South 2 and Sunridge. The townhouse development exhibits provide preliminary elevation, color schemes, and building materials for the proposed townhomes. Each townhome unit will have a 2-car garage meeting the minimum parking requirements in the Sarpy County zoning regulations. At the November 21st, 2021 discussion related to, at the November 21st, 2021 County Board meeting, there was discussion related to parking and trails, or a fee in lieu for the purchase and development of larger parks. As a result, the applicant has added a park and trail system to his development. Outlot G will be developed as a neighborhood park and a trail system running both east to west and north to south within the Sunset Meadows development. Dedicated right-of-way will not change as a result of this replat. The applicant submitted a trip generation comparison memorandum regarding the Sunset Meadows development and the proposed replat, noting that based on the trip generation analysis results, no significant impact is anticipated to traffic conditions with the proposed changes in land use and quantities, therefore not requiring an update to the Sunset Meadows traffic impact study. This document will be provided to Sarpy County Public Works for review prior to moving applications onto County Board for consideration. The applicant must provide a signed wastewater service agreement with the City of Gretna and a signed subdivision agreement with the Sarpy County Attorney's Office before submitting final plat for a public hearing with the County Board. So staff recommends approval of the rezoning from two-family residential to general residential with planned townhouse development overlay on the property to be known as Lot 1, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 2, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 3, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 4, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 5, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 6, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 7, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 8, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 9, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 10, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 11, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 12, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 13, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 14, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 15, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 16, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 17, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 18, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 19, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 20, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 21, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 22, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 23, sublots 1 through 4 inclusive, Lot 24, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, Lot 25, sublots 1 through 6 inclusive, and outlot A and B, Sunset Meadow replat 1, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal with existing conditions meets the intent of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and Zoning Regulations. Staff also recommends approval of a revised preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as Sunset Meadows and Sunset Meadows replat 1, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. Staff recommends approval of a final plat of the subdivision to be known. Can I shorten this? Okay, thank you. As lot 1 through 25 with sublots? Perfect. Okay. Exactly what I was going to say. Okay. That makes me feel better.
Even Nicole goes.
I could feel the cane coming up. And outlot A and B, Sunset Meadows replat 1, being replatting of lots 113 through 138 inclusive, and lots 149 through 186 inclusive, and outlot C and K. Sunset Meadows, a subdivision to be recorded in Sarpy County, Nebraska, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for sitting through that.
I have one question for legal. If a commissioner wanted to make a motion, could they abbreviate their motion in the same fashion as Jason?
Yeah, you can say for your motion, you can say lots 1 through 25, inclusive of all the sublots as listed in the report, and outlot A and B, Sunset Meadows replat 1. Yeah.
Any other questions for staff?
I have a question about the, it has to do with the traffic, and we're adding 49 lots, and I think on Highway 31, that's only going to be an out, correct? Because that's a split.
I believe that is a full access on Highway 31 there.
On Josephine, or just Harrison?
No, I do believe Josephine will be what they would consider a quarter mile full access.
Okay, on the south side, as you get out of that little corner, what's on the south side of that to get out to the highway?
You're talking the
Yeah.
south side over here?
Yeah.
This will go into a future neighborhood development.
So,
Any sort of development.
At this
Just
juncture, it's just, yeah, okay. So at this juncture, everything has to go out on Josephine or go up to Harrison and go out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There will be a street from, as you say, Phase 1 over to Phase 2 and up and out to that other, to Harrison.
Help me out here. There we go. They're moving dirt there now, but
So you'll have, when it's all said and done, you'll have access point here, you'll have an access point here, and the only access point to Highway 31 will be down here. There will be future connections to the south, which may have additional access points.
which may. Yeah.
And I do.
And that doesn't, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that is a full access point onto the Highway 31.
On Josephine.
Yeah, because
Josephine and
used
Harrison.
that actually to put the signs out. So.
Okay.
Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan allows a full access point at quarter mile, half mile, and full mile.
Okay.
But I will tell you that property to the south of this probably only goes a couple hundred feet, and then it falls into the city of Gretna's zoning jurisdiction. So I don't know what that would,
Isn't
I don't
that
know
where
what their
that-
comp plan calls for.
Well, no, I was going to say that's where that lake is, but the lake is further south.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just am going to express concern about.
I'm sure Giles Road, which is to the south of this, will be a full access point.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're adding a lot of traffic in that little area. I do know, however, or at least I understand that the future is that starters are going to be row houses, probably not individual separate homes, so. Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to open the public hearing and ask if there's a representative of the applicant that would like to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name's Jeff Elliott. I'm with Woodsonia 204 Harrison LLC. Appreciate the recommendation from staff, and would be happy to answer any questions you might have. Ms. Davis, in response to your question on access to the highway, we are working with DOT, and when a traffic signal is warranted there, they will allow a traffic signal at Josephine. So there will be a full access. There is a full access there. At some point in the future, probably not too distant future, there will be a traffic signal there at Josephine to allow traffic into and out onto the highway.
Okay, on the east side on Josephine, right now there's nothing there.
That's just a agricultural field.
Correct. And will they will it require that there be something built over there before they signalize that?
Not necessarily. It all is reliant upon traffic volumes.
Oh, yeah.
And with
there's
the heavy
not a lot.
volume on the highway, it doesn't take very many cars trying to access onto the highway before a traffic signal would be warranted.
Okay, thank you.
Is this intended to fill in the need for more affordable housing in Sarpy County?
Yes, that's what I was going to say as well. Our builder has this more affordable product that they'd like to add into the Sarpy County area.
Do you know roughly what price point these will sell at?
They're going to start, so the single-family homes that are adjacent to this, they're going to start at $315,000 and go up to $345,000. These will be around $200,000 to $250,000, something like that. So, talking about $200,000. That's not as affordable as it was, but in these times, that's about what you have to pay.
Who's your builder on this?
D.R. Horton.
Right, the national.
Yes.
Thank you. And then, as I understand it, it was just a mock-up, you're not committed to it, but the drawings that we had.
Those are actual product that they offered as what they're going to be.
Oh.
So they have multiple color schemes, they have multiple looks on the front of those buildings, so every one is not going to look exactly the same.
Okay.
So they have some stone, some brick, some
Okay.
different looks.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Regarding the traffic, is there any concern with busing or for any of the school system? It seems like just a couple exits or entrances in that area would be a lot of kids in that area.
We expect there'll be a lot of children in the area. Gretna Schools has not offered any concern for serving the area, so I don't see any issues there.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this matter? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and would ask what the commission would like to do in terms of motions and If you'd like to make a motion, keep in mind, we can use an abbreviated version.
Or the long one is fine. If there's no comments or discussion, I'd be prepared to make a motion. I'd recommend a motion of approval of this application for rezoning from two-family residential RD50 to general residential RG15, planned townhouse development on the property to be known as lots 1 through 25, inclusive of all sublots as set forth in the application, and outlot A and B, Sunset Meadows replat 1, being a replatting of lots 113 through 138 inclusive, and lots 149 to 186 inclusive, and outlot C and outlot K, Sunset Meadows, a subdivision to be recorded in Sarpy County, Nebraska, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal with existing conditions meets the intent of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and the zoning regulations.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Ackley, a second by Giff. Please vote.
Giff?
Yes.
Bernach?
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
Okay, I'd also like to make a recommendation of approval for the preliminary plat, the revised preliminary plat of the subdivision to be known as lots 1 to 25, inclusive of all sublots as set forth in the application, and outlot A and B, Sunset Meadows replat 1, being a replatting of lots 113 through 138 inclusive, and lots 149 through 186 inclusive, and outlot C and outlot K, Sunset Meadows, a subdivision to be recorded in Sarpy County, Nebraska, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
And I'll second.
We have a motion by Ackley, a second by Giff. Please vote.
Bernach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
And finally, I'd make a recommendation of approval of the application for a final plat of the subdivision to be known as lots 1 through 25, inclusive of all sublots as set forth in the application, and outlot A and B, Sunset Meadows replat 1, being a replatting of lots 113 through 138 inclusive, and lots 149 through 186 inclusive, and outlot C and outlot K, Sunset Meadows, a subdivision to be recorded in Sarpy County, Nebraska, subject to the comments and attachments in the Planning Department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
And I'll second.
We got a motion by Ackley, a second by Giff. Please vote.
Bernach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
8 votes for, motion carries.
Thank you. Under the correspondence agenda, under Commissioners' reports, Mr. George, I understand you're going to be
Resigning.
Relocating.
Yes, I certainly wanted to take an opportunity to pass along that my family and I will be moving to Cass County, to a rural part of the county there. We've been looking to do something like that for some time, so I could ask all day, but I think Nicole would probably tell me I can't stay on the Sarpy County Planning Commission. But so certainly would like to, pass along my appreciation to Commissioner Kelly. It's been a wonderful opportunity to serve in this capacity. Pass along my appreciation to the Planning Department and the staff. You've been great to work with for the last, 7 years now. We've been at this, and then to my fellow commissioners, it's been a pleasure. I've always thought that government that governs best governs least and at the lowest level, and I think we're pretty smart folks at the local level, and we can handle our affairs quite well. And I think this outfit here is a pretty good example of how well that can work. And so I certainly appreciate the opportunity to get to know you all and to serve with you all. And we'll be working in Sarpy County quite a bit still, so I'm sure we'll bump into each other from time to time, and I'm sure I'll bump into Steve down in Cass County perhaps once or twice in the not-too-distant future. And it's been a pleasure, and thank you very much.
Well, when you PCS back,
This is what they call the final solution, I think, of homes. This is where the forever home, I think, is what they call it, right? Which, we'll see whether that works out or not, but, yeah.
well, good luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully you get a good realtor.
Yeah. I worked him over pretty good. Yeah.
The only other thing I had is just a reminder that we should have elections for this commission in February. That's all I had. Any other reports from anyone? Anything from the planning department?
Yeah, I just had a few things, and I can see if Donna has anything. To get back to you, Mike, on a question you had in October, did sit through the Papillion Creek Watershed Partnership. Creek setback study was one of the subjects that came up, and they're still answering questions from the spring 2021 discussion from the development community in the second phase of the study with their consultant. But they're hoping to have another discussion after the first of the year with that same community, development community. So they've kind of elected some people just informally to talk with representatives there. So
All I ask is when they finally do get ready to answer those questions, you call me back for a cameo appearance.
to come in. Okay, we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
But just updates on what's been happening with County Board. We took that special use permit for Bill Stack over in Bensel's Island, the 5 RV pads. That went through. Sunset Meadows, the final plat that we just did the replat for. The final plat went through. That's 327 residential lots now. So we'll see how that goes in the next phase for County Board for the replat. Tower Lot 1, which was a cell tower subdivision, that went through. Advantage Business Park, which was 5 business lots, that went through. And the Santa Fe preliminary plat, rezoning, and comprehensive plan were all tabled indefinitely due to neighborhood feedback. But the applicant requested that, yeah. So that's all I have.
And I understand we are going to have a meeting in January. Does that sound correct?
Yeah. We'll be having a short meeting. It'll be one agenda item at this point.
Okay. Well, unless someone has something else they'd like to speak to, we could adjourn the meeting.
All right. Thanks.
Merry Christmas, everybody.